It's time for some Crash Team Racing. Hypnoshark, take it away.
All right, hello everyone. This is Crash Team Racing for the PlayStation 1. I will be playing it on a PlayStation 2. I will go into the reasons why later, but first, I believe I have to ask, am I playing as Tiny Tiger or Dingo Dial? Which character won that incentive? I have no idea, so should be interesting.
Double checking, refreshing just before, and I believe it is Dingo Dial.
Nice. So this is the character I usually play as in speedruns. So I was secretly hoping to myself that Dingo would win. So nice. All right. I will kind of do the introductions as we enter the first track, but for now, I'm ready in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, as I say, this is a game for the PlayStation 1, the last game that Naughty Dog made in the Crash franchise, and you could tell it was their last game because they really put a lot of deep thinking into the lore of this game. Basically, massive green alien man wants to take over the world, and he's going to do that by beating us in a race. We are going to stop him by winning races to gain trophies and beat bosses and eventually get to race him and then hopefully win. But, you know, we'll see. Nothing's for certain. All right, so first track, this is kind of a good introduction, Crash Cove. You will be seeing a lot of this throughout the next 55 minutes. You will be seeing sliding left and right in a go-kart. A lot of it. And if you keep an eye on the bottom right of your screen, there is a meter that goes up every time I do this. And by holding R1 to initiate my drift and hitting L1 at a precise timing, I can do a thing that's called a mini turbo. This is what the game is built around as far as the speedrun goes. Because this propels us forward and adds to the counter that you can't see, which I'll explain now. It's called reserves. I will refer to it as such. Basically what it is every single time I'm not boosting, I am running out of reserves, and every time I boost, I am gaining reserves. So it's basically a massive tug of war. And reserves are my right to keep the speed that I currently have. So as you can see on Crash Code, I basically kept my reserves up for the entire race. And because of that, I was able to keep my speed up for the entire race and do it pretty fast. That's the foundation, I suppose, of this speed. And that's what you'll be seeing a lot of. Uka now flies in to give us a hint. We don't care because I like to think I already know what he's going to say. Maybe I do, but maybe I should have listened to him. I guess we'll never know. Ruse Tube's next track. This track is probably, like, in terms of explaining things, this is probably, like, the perfect track to talk about another tech. Speed ghosting, or SGing. I'll refer to it as SGing for the rest of the run. Basically, whenever I go down a downhill, or sometimes even an uphill, I can jump out of it by holding L1 and mashing R1 like this, and I can maintain the speed that the downhill gives me. This is probably the second biggest speed tech behind just keeping reserves high. Because as you can see, on this hill coming up here, as I just get to it now, I'm going to hold L1, mash R1, and I'm going to maintain this downhill speed. And I'm going to hopefully, such as this, going to keep it all the way until this section here. That's actually a lovely that. 22? Okay, that's cracked. That's absolutely insane. Wow, okay. Was not expecting that at all. This has been a brilliant Ruse Tubes, but this track really does show off the power of speed ghosting, and that lap 2 is a perfect kind of, what's the word, sign of it, I suppose. Pretty poor end, but that lap 2 is, wow. You'll actually be seeing that track twice. There are 5 tracks in this run, but you will see twice because you also race the bosses on them. So yeah, hopefully there will be more opportunities for speed ghosts in the future. Okay, so next track, Mystery Caves. We're currently flying through the first hub. I should mention actually before I get into this track, there are 4 races per hub and then a boss race. So it's 5 in every hub and then a final boss. So there's 21 races in this speedrun. So yeah, okay. Mystery Caves. This track will be the first instance of both cycles and Wumpa becoming like a big deal. Basically, if you look to the left of the lap count in the top right, you will see that I currently have 0 Wumpa. However, on this track, it is actually worth it to get Wumpa. And what Wumpa is going to do for me is with every Wumpa I get, my speed increases by about 0.2%, my base speed. So if I was just to hold X, I am going faster now with 10 Wumpa than I would have been with 0. So getting 10 is quite nice, although it's actually not necessary because getting 9 Wumpa does the same amount. For some reason, I don't know if this was by design or not, but basically the 10th Wumpa doesn't actually increase your speed compared to 9. It just makes your items stronger. So as you can see, I have a red potion. You probably notice I haven't been talking much about the items, but we'll get to that later. As I said before as well, this track introduces cycles. However, the cycles in this track are not nearly as important as the cycles in the next track, which we'll get to shortly. But yeah, so as you can see, this off-road went kind of bad, but it's fine. And then the speed ghost that I mentioned previously rears its head again, and you can get an SG down this section because of the downhill that we just went on. These are the cycles I was talking about. You can avoid all of them no matter what they're doing. So these aren't as important. And the turtle cycles as well, which are a little bit more important, but still doesn't really lose or save you any time. If a turtle goes up, you can kind of cut off that last corner, but besides that, it's about it. 37, 38 laps aren't bad. You can get 36 laps there, but I kind of messed up a little bit with not getting super powerful speed ghosts or SGs. So once again, we will skip Yuka talking because, frankly, we do not care for what he has to say. And we will go straight to Sewer Speedway. The cycles I mentioned are really important here. The main reason being you can actually go too fast and you can also go too slow. If you go too fast, one of the barrels that you will see in about 15 seconds or so will crush you. And if you go too slow, the same thing will happen. So you want to watch out for that. There's 2 sets of cycles in this level. One of them is right here. And again, that is actually an intended shortcut. There will be a lot of unintentional shortcuts, I assure you, later into this run. This is another speed ghost right here. You can get one off of the wall and go absolutely flying. And that was actually, dare I say, optimal. That was really, really powerful. That was really, really nice. I should actually mention, I'll mention it on lap 3, but off of certain jumps in this game, you can do a thing called a double jump or a crest. It's sometimes referred to as cresting, although I just call it a double jump. What you can do is, on certain jumps, you literally, it's kind of, the name is kind of what it says on the tip. You just hit R1 twice, whilst holding L1, and you can get a double jump. So, the example is right here. Basically, you just hit jump twice, and you get propelled a little bit further than you otherwise would, which is lovely. And then the intended shortcut again. You actually don't want to go the intended way through the intended shortcut. The shortcut intends for you to stay on path and go like up the top of where the mini-map is. Like, if you look at the mini-map, there's a little top area. Yeah, we're never going to go there in this level just because it's slow to go wide and all the way around. Instead, you just kind of drop off to the right like that. So, okay, this has been a really good Hub 1 so far. I cannot complain at all. First boss race of the run, Ripperoo. We will be heading back to Ruse Tubes for plenty of speed ghosts. Hopefully they're as good as the lap 2 last time, because that was, I mean, goodness, that was insane. But yeah, we'll see. Gimmicks with bosses are that if you're behind them, they can put like infinite items behind them. So hopefully you'll see on lap 3. Actually, you saw a little bit there. There was a TNT above where I was driving. But you'll definitely see it on lap 3 as long as I play well. That if we get close to lapping him, the TNTs that Ripperoo infinitely puts behind him will actually catch up to, and they might be a slight problem. It's technically RNG where he puts them, but there are set cycles. There's just too many to really name. So it's basically RNG. I mean, there's so many variables, and that's not to mention if you item him. So for instance, I have a TNT right now. If I was, let's say, to place that behind me and he would run into it, that would mess up the next lap's cycles for Ripperoo placing TNTs. But on the whole, this wasn't bad. Yeah, as you can see, I'm kind of catching up to the TNTs now, but none of them were in the way of me, luckily, so we're good. That is, that's awesome. That's just an awesome Hub 1. I'm very, very happy with that. Yeah, that's sweet. Okay, so now we'll be in Ripperoo, and whilst we make our way to Hub 2, I think we have some time for donations, I believe.
Alrighty, we have a bunch. Oh my gosh, we have a $10 donation from Undertaker that says, yes, Crash Team Racing incoming. Difficult game and excited to see a master. MJ Hay donates $20 that says, hey Hypno, as you know, I'm a big fan and I hope you have an amazing run. I'm so excited to see you in GDQ. Callum also donates $20 that says, Hypno Weird, let's go Sam, you legend. We're also proud of you for getting the 48 and now getting GDQ. Keep calm and avoid Coco. I'm assuming there's a lore I'm not understanding here.
Yeah, so I'll actually explain here because this is a pretty good time to. So Coco is a character in Crash, and Coco, for some reason, is just the most aggressive AI towards me. The amount of runs that Coco is killed by me lapping her and her just iteming me for no reason is just ridiculous. But speaking of RNG, we have our first RNG-based shortcut here. This is the only intended RNG-based shortcut, more on that later, but there it was. There's actually a thing I should mention in this level. As there are some items that don't work on this level to open the shortcut, and some items that do. For instance, a nitro doesn't work, but a bomb does. If I was to get a shield item, and then follow it up by getting a nitro, I can actually place the nitro in the way of the door, and then the door for the shortcut won't come back up, and it will just stay open forever. It's a pretty cool, find. Whoever found it, shout outs. But yeah, that was 3 out of 3. That was not bad. That was, wow. Okay, this run is going sick so far. This is really good. Oh, hello. Speaking of AI trying to missile me, wow, shocker. Luckily I had a nitro to block it, so we're good. This is why you always look back on that section, by the way, because you never know if an AI who you've lapped is just gonna try and destroy you. Okay, so next track, Coco Park. Back in the day, I would have been like, okay, time for some donations, but now it's actually quite an interesting level. Probably the most basic level. This is probably the best place to learn how to play this game because it's very, low risk, but you can't really fall off. So I recommend, like, if you're learning this game, practicing here a lot of the time, because you can just practice keeping reserves like this. There's only really this shortcut to speak of, but also the reason why I say that it's gotten a little bit more interesting is because there are speed ghosts down this hill, which you can then froggy. By the way, that's the technical term for when I hold L1 and mash R1 like this. That's called froggying, but it's usually combined with a speed ghost. So I usually just refer to the whole thing as a speed ghost. And this shortcut here, as I say. And that's not too bad. I got a little speed ghost out of that downhill there. That's nice as well. Yeah, lovely so far. This level does have a little bit of RNG in the fact that if an AI gets a better start than you, which happens fairly often, you can actually, from the first iron box, get a mask. And if you don't know what a mask is, basically it's the star in Mario Kart, if you know what that is. You can get it in any position, 2nd to 8th, it's not 1st. And it's going to be incredibly useful for this next track. Now, if you know what the donation referenced earlier about me grinding for the 48, it's because of this shortcut. This shortcut really isn't marathon safe, but, you know, but for the culture, for the show, we got to do it. There is a lot of RNG involved in this, and there is the fact that it's probably the hardest skip in the game. I think I'm the only person that does it in runs, and that there's probably a good reason for that. So here we go. First of all, I'm going to turn around and try and get a mask. This is the RNG portion. I will explain the rest of the trick once I get it. Or fail it. Okay, not bad. Here we go. Oh my goodness gracious me. Okay, so, I'll be honest. I'll be honest. I'll level with you all. I wasn't expecting to get that. Okay. So what that is commonly referred to as the Tiziano. That is a time trial only shortcut that has been moved to speedruns by me and only me. I'll explain the rest of this track when we do the boss race of this track. Because there is a boss here, luckily, so I have time to explain it. But to explain that shortcut, basically, to get the speed required to make it, I require a mask. Then, once I've got the mask, I need to activate it at the right time, because if I activate it too soon, Dingo's speed is too fast, and I can't make the turn to jump onto the wall. So I have to activate it just at the right time. I have to jump to a certain point on the wall, and then I need to U-turn accurately, and I'll explain U-turning later on in the run when it's more potent. But I have to U-turn off the wall and get a jump off the wall that is big enough to make it to the other side of the track. If I land too close to the wall, it will not work. If I land too far right, I can drive, but it won't count the lap. And if I land too far left, it will respawn me. So there is so much that can go wrong there, and I cannot believe that I've just landed it at GDQ. I'll talk about the rest of that track in the boss race, but for now, Dingo Canyon. Okay, catch your breath, Sam. What has happened? Okay, Dingo Canyon. So this track is a little bit of a breather for Hub 2. There's a few speed ghosts, but not too much else to speak of. There is a speed ghost coming up just here on this downhill, which you can get and then use it to cut across the sand like this. And there's this SG here, and this SG here can go insanely well or give you nothing. That was kind of average. That was like okay, I would say. Yeah, not too bad. The average lap here is about a 27. So anything around there is quite good. Yeah, 27.36 is actually really, really good. Anything sub 27.50 is sweet. And let's see if we can get a good Lake SG here. That's better. That's way better. You notice the difference in speed And here I go. I'm able to froggy it all the way to here. That was awesome. That was really good. That kind of made up for the lack of a sand SG at the start of the lap, and it'll probably be around the same as lap 2. It's a 26. Wow. Okay. Wow. I am amazed. Okay. 26 in Dingo Canyon. That's an awesome lap. And now we have Papu. I will be playing that track again. However, I will not be doing that shortcut again because, fun fact, in boss races, it is impossible to get masks. So, I will not be doing it. However, I can now explain what I was doing on lap 2 and 3 last time. So what we're going to do in this level is combine a multitude of unintended and intended shortcuts, 3 to be exact. There are basically 3 shortcuts that we combine back to back to back. 2 are intended, 1 absolutely isn't. Once again involving the wall that we used for the Tiziano. And here we go. So we're going to use this intended shortcut and this intended shortcut. What isn't intended is jumping on this wall and skipping to the end of the lap. If you noticed, I dropped that TNT there because Papu drops potions as his infinite items, similarly to how Ripperoo dropped TNTs. And if he hits the TNT, which he did, if you pay attention to his character portrait on the left, it flashed red, which indicates that he hit it. There are no longer potions on this section because he cannot drop items whilst he has a TNT on his head, which is just excellent. That's a very, very niche strat. Shoutouts to, I believe it was Natty, who found that, who actually did a run on GDQ of this game about 4 years ago, so shoutouts. Very good Papu. I absolutely cannot believe how well this is going. I'm stunned. I'm absolutely stunned. This is insane. Yeah, okay, so we're done with Hub 2. That's the early game. We are past the main reset point, which is Tiziano, and we actually got it with pretty good RNG. I think it was 3rd try mask, if I'm not mistaken, so crazy. And now we're going to go to Hub 3. Besides Tiziano, which we got in Papu's Pyramid, the trophy visit on lap 1, I would say this is the hardest hub in the game. However, it used to be Hub 4 that was the hardest hub in the game. And I assure you, just because Hub 3 has gone harder, it doesn't mean Hub 4 is any less difficult. Basically, everything left in this run now could be considered a run killer. So, yeah. Starting off with Blizzard Bluff, the first of 2 snow tracks in this run. Blizzard Bluff is really short, however, it has a lot of tech and shortcuts in it. 9 to be exact, 3 for each lap. Here is one of them. This is absolutely intended, and this isn't. This is the rail shortcut. That is the most likely shortcut to fail. And this, I didn't even mention on that one, but this is the other shortcut. Very simple little alcove shortcut there. I have a shield item, so I don't need to worry about this boulder. Not that I had to anyway. And again, doing the lake shortcut and doing the rail shortcut. How I'm doing that rail shortcut, by the way, is I'm jumping as I reach the off-road, and then I'm buffering my second jump by simply mashing R1. That's the same way that froggying works, by the way, when I mash jump. The only reason that's possible is because this game buffers inputs. So here I'm just mashing R1 the entire time, and it gets me over there. An incredibly good bluff, 109 on the in-game timer. That's really good. Yeah, this run is wow. Okay. Next up is Dragon Mines, and okay, I need to point out what I just did there. Again, I wasn't expecting to get that. The first 2 hubs, Uka Uka, spawns in and gives you hints. It's the things I was skipping earlier by mashing triangle. What I just did there is when Uka isn't going to give you a hint, in the last 2 hubs, for instance, you can mash the start button, and if you're lucky, you can get a 1-frame pause, which skips the Uka dialogue where he says, "Congratulations, you win a trophy." That's incredibly useful because it saves about 2 to 3 seconds every time you get one, and you get to do it 6 times in the run. So that's 1 out of 1 for pauses so far. Very good. Dragon Mines, this track is very complex, very technical because of this shortcut here. You have to do a U-turn, which I will explain now. Basically what a U-turn is you hit down a direction, either left or right, and square. And what that does is it sharply turns your character, no matter what character you are, no matter what turning stat they have. And what happens is you lose your reserves, but you turn really sharply. Basically, the moment you hit square, you lose your reserves, but it's worth it for moments like this. Sacrificing your reserves isn't a common thing, but it is done for certain skips and shortcuts when it's worth it, and that is one example. I should explain actually while I drive to the next track that the reason I'm playing as Dingo, if you saw the 2017 GDQ run done by Natty, as I unfortunately miss a pause there, if you saw that run, he was playing as Coco, and you may be wondering why the choices for character are only Dingo and Tiny, and that's because soon after that run, not too long at all actually, about 6 months after-ish, we discovered some strats for Dingo and Tiny that made them optimal, and we've slowly built on them, and now Dingo and Tiny are about 20-25 seconds faster than Coco and Engine. Coco and Engine are still the safe characters to play, but Dingo and Tiny are optimal. Polar Pass, this is a really big run killer. This is the easier shortcut, by the way. You turn around and then jump off and over the chasm like that. That's the easier shortcut. It's still really hard, but it's easier. What I'm going to do now on lap 2 and 3 is called a boomerang. Basically, why it's called that is because you skip the turning around of the turbo pad like I did lap 1, and you simply go for it, and you loop back on yourself, hence why it's called a boomerang, because the shape of the shortcut when you make it. This is really hard. My current world record loses 10 seconds here because it fails one of these, so let's go. That's one. That was really clean. I went really high there. That was really, really nice. Lovely, lovely, lovely. And now for lap 3, where we will hopefully repeat that feat, but let's see here. So, again, you can actually get an SG off that downhill like that by doing a double jump off the initial lip and then combining it into an SG or a speed ghost. That's very nice. You can get another one there. Basically any downhill you can get a speed ghost off of. And here we go, lap 3 boomerang, here we go. Unfortunate. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what my world record does actually. It just slightly messes up the lap 3 attempt. Still made the easier one as the backup strat, which is good, but this run is no longer absolutely perfect. Oh, what a shame. Yeah, that's our first mistake, but I mean, I can't believe it took that long, to be honest. Yeah, so not bad. Only about an 8-second time loss it usually uses, excuse me. And yeah. So, earlier I mentioned that Hub 4 used to be the hardest hub, and now Hub 3 is. The reason why, I'm lucky to not get paused there. The reason why is because we discovered a skip in Tiny Arena, and if you get it, you save 45 seconds compared to failing it. And you only get 2 attempts at it, one on lap 2 and one on lap 3. And so this is the main run killer. Tiziano earlier is like, only I go for it really, so whether it's a run killer or not really sure, but this is the main run killer of the run. It was found in 2019. No, that's a lie. It was found in 2020, excuse me, mid-2020. And it requires getting a nitro. which is a bit of RNG involved here. And then it requires placing that nitro next to a wall and using the nitro to jump over the wall, get the lap count, and skip basically the entire lap of one of the longest tracks in the game. So yeah, it's pretty insane. This is the main run killer, and yeah, me and my community have been sweating over this for the longest time. So here we go. I'll explain more once I either get it or fail it. Here we go. This is it. Place it like that, and then here we go. Unlucky, unlucky. That was definitely my fault. Basically, the nitro needs to be placed in a very specific spot. It can be placed in multiple spots. Multiple spots do work, but each spot is kind of specific. And then you have to have the right angle when you hit the nitro. That was my fault because I drove too far to the left of the nitro, sadly. I was a little bit too far left, so I got kind of stuck underneath the lip in the wall. But we have another chance. We have another chance. So, yeah, here we go. The reason why, by the way, you need to do lap 1 normally is because it activates all the loading zones in the level. If you don't do a full lap before doing the shortcut, the game will recognize that you're not supposed to be where you are and will respawn you. But because we already drive past it, where we're going to be landing, the game thinks it's okay and only counts the lap once I've landed, which is the reason this works. But okay, here we go. Nice invisible wall game. That's not the best nitro in the world, but we'll see if it works. What a shame. What a shame. What a shame. Oh well, it's all good. It's all good. I tell you what, just for swag, I think I'm gonna go for it lap 3. Yeah, the game gave me the TNT first try. Okay, I'm gonna lose time going for this. I could just finish the race, but for the culture, you know, you gotta do it. You've got it. When the game gift wraps you a nitro like this, I feel like you gotta go for it, no? I feel like you have to go. By the way, I can't believe, just for the record, but I got the shortcut in Papu's Pyramid, excuse me, and then failed this 0 for 2. That's insane. But oh well, it happens. Okay, I'm gonna lose time, but in an attempt to show off what the shortcut should look like, I'm gonna go for it one more time. I'm miles ahead of the AI, so I'm not in any danger of losing the race at all. Let's go for it. Let's try and swag. Why not? We'll give it a go. That's not a bad nitro. I don't hate it. No. The game really did not want me to do that. Ah well, it happens. All right. I do believe during this boss cutscene, by the way, that we have time for a few donations.
Definitely. We have a $50 donation from Freeze that says, "Is it crazy? How long have you come this last 2 years and now you're here? Your best moderator wishes you a good luck. Hopefully Tiny Arena won't do a top rope elbow drop on you. Anyway, I love you, Hypno Proud."
Much love.
We also have $100 from Shadow Game that says, "Best of luck, Hypno. So amazing to see you at a GDQ." And then we have
thank you.
Iceborne Queen donates $50. They say, "Gotta donate for that tizzy. Absolutely loving the run, Hypno."
Thank you. Okay, so this next track... Oh, sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good. Don't worry about it.
This next track, you've already seen it. It's a boss race, but Dragon Mines once again. Again, very technical. Hopefully we can get 10 Wumpa, because I actually have a boost item, which is a 10% chance, I believe, in first, which is actually useful here. Usually a boost item isn't that useful because it gives you the same amount of speed that you have just going off a regular turbo pad, such as this green and black one you see in front of you. However, because this track involves a U-turn, through the minecart shortcut, there is actually a place where I won't have turbo pad fire. Hello, Nitro. How are you doing? By the way, Komodo Joe places nitros. I should mention this. Hello, minecart. How are you doing? That's an unlucky cycle, but as I said, we have this boost item to use. We use it instantly after getting out of the minecart. We can froggy up this hill here. No nitro around the corner. Very good. And we finish and cross the line. I should mention, in that track, you do not want to hop over the finish line. There is a glitch where if you jump over the finish line, the lap just won't count sometimes. The game will get confused and just not give you the lap count. So do not jump, no matter what happens. Just don't jump over the line, because you never know when you might just get unlucky, especially over the left side of it. You can just get walled for whatever reason. But, okay. Final hub of the game. This hub is ridiculously hard. We call it the Gauntlet, and well, there's a very good reason for that, especially the last 4 or 5 tracks. But starting with Engine Labs, which is a bit of a warm-up, I suppose, for Hub 4. It's definitely the easiest track in Hub 4, but it's by no means easy. This is going to introduce a new tech called USFing, or Ultimate Sacred Fire. I don't know who came up with that name, but whoever did, I just have no words. Basically, you go off a turbo pad and you don't jump, and you get a huge amount of speed, such as this. For some reason, some turbo pads in Hub 4, and Hub 4 only, mind you, if you don't jump off them, they can give an insane amount of speed and translate whatever reserves you have into how long you keep that speed for. So as you can see, I've been boosting pretty much this whole level, because I'm going to jump off this and then not jump, and then as you can see, I get an insane amount of speed, and I'm just able to cut every corner. 45.93 is a pretty good lap time as well while we're at it. And then you can combine that USF into an SG, and then get back to this turbo pad, and then do it all over again. That's pretty much what this level is based upon. You're going to see this again in the next level, Cortex Castle as well. But you will not see it in the last 2 levels, because even though there are USF pads, we actually do unintended skips that skip over them, and you just won't see them. So Engine Labs and Cortex Castle, which is the next track, will be the place where you will see USFing. 42.20, that's actually a really good lap, and that is a really good speed ghost. I mean, you see the speed. Yeah, that's awesome. A 9-second lap, not a 9-second lap, but 9 seconds on the lap reaching that USF pad is really good. And then hopefully you can get a froggy out of this blue tunnel, and then keep reserves again for the USF. A very intricate track, which puts a lot of emphasis on getting your reserves nice and high and then burning them all on the USF. So again, then don't jump, and then like this. I don't know why Purr is that far behind the AI, but have a potion. I just went to split, by the way. I haven't done that all run. I don't know why I decided to now. Go figure. Then we'll go for a pause here. Unlucky. Basically, I'm just mashing start and praying the game pauses on the 1 frame. Skip the Yucca dialogue. Okay, Cortex Castle. This, in my opinion, is the most technical track that doesn't have an unintended shortcut in the game. This is very hard, especially if you're playing as Dingo or Tiny, and this track is one of the main reasons that I suggest that you play as Coco or Engine when you're starting out, because their increased turning stat compared to Dingo and Tiny makes all of these 90-degree right angles a lot more bearable. With Coco and Engine, you can kind of improv in this level. With Dingo, you have to stick to a very strict kind of strat with not much lenience. And if you don't, then your whole level's ruined, because you don't have the cornering to really improvise around these turns. This is the USF I was talking about. This one is perhaps a little more obvious because you hold it all the way to there and then you get a massive speed ghost. Luckily, I knew the spider was going to move because of cycles. These cycles aren't as important, however, as the ones, let's say, in Sewer Speedway all the way back in Hub 1. Because you can actually avoid most of them by simply going on the inside of them, whereas the barrels sometimes, if they just line up awkwardly, they're kind of unavoidable. But the spiders, most of the time, like there's actually a strat here, I wonder if I can pull it off. If that spider was down, you can actually just go in that little crevice like I did there, and not crevice, what's the word? Like in that little gap, I suppose, and you can skip past the spider. If the spider's down lap 3, it'll be way more obvious what I do, but yeah, this has actually been a really nice castle so far. Honestly, this whole run has been lovely besides Tiny Arena. Tiny Arena has been the one level that's kind of bullied me, but everything else has been really nice, at least so far. So, okay. Coming to the end of Cortex Castle here, and now we have what I would term as the gauntlet. This is where if you're on world record pace and your run is really good, or even just PB pace, and your run is really good, and you get to these levels, the nerves kick in, your knees are weak, your arms are heavy, and yeah, it's not a great time. Unless you can hold it together, then it's the greatest time of all. But starting with Air Skyway, you will see both of these tracks twice, by the way. One is the penultimate boss, Pinstripe, and one is the final boss, Big Green Alien Boy, aka Oxide. So, a lot of unintended shortcuts in both. Starting with this, we need to drive a certain way up the track to activate checkpoints ahead of time, and then turn around, and then make this. And you need to stick to the wall because otherwise the game realizes you're out of bounds. The reason why I had to drive all that way up, by the way, this is another shortcut. Just turn around and jump over, not too hard. Actually, I'll explain it later because there's another shortcut here. There's 9 shortcuts in this level, 3 on each lap. Hairpin, let's see if we can get it. Lovely. Hairpin saves the least and is also probably the hardest. But, you know, it's worth going for because why not? But yeah, the reason why you need to drive this far is to activate the track down below, because if I don't drive all the way up here and I still do this shortcut, like that, Uka will spawn in because he'll realize that I'm not supposed to be down there. Similarly to how I explained the Tiny Arena shortcut, if I made it. But yeah, so we do that to avoid that from happening. Another good hairpin, lovely. Hairpin is a pretty self-explanatory one. You just have to jump at the right time with the right amount of speed. However, it is way harder than it looks because the invisible wall stretches all the way up. So it's quite demanding of your height on the jump, let's say. And just make that one more time. Very nice. I actually thought I may have landed too far up. Oh, and this is where Coco usually... Yep, there she was again. that donation earlier, I mean, so poetic. I mean, she was right there. She was ready to destroy me, and luckily I just barely evaded to the right. I mean,
they knew the lore. They knew the lore.
Yeah, they knew. I mean, goodness, she's everywhere. Like, I can't escape. All right. Oxide Station, this is the final trophy race in the game. There are 16 trophies, 4 keys. You get a key for every boss, by the way, in case you hadn't picked that up. This is one of the more, or has one of the more complex sections in the entire run. The first 20 seconds of the lap are all spent on the same section, but it's a bit insane. Again, we're going to activate checkpoints ahead of time by doing the first phase of this shortcut, which is dropping down. And then we're going to do the most dangerous thing of all, which is drive in the oncoming traffic and pray I don't get hit. I kind of got clipped, but I've seen way worse. And then we're going to jump onto the rail again, but this time drop down because we've activated the checkpoints ahead of time. And then we're going to jump to the left and skip another section. Quite possibly the most iconic part of this game. which is the space area in this level where you jump outside the spaceship and it's low gravity. You just completely skip that with that last skip. And by the way, the last skip, which saves like 20 seconds per lap, is like the easiest skip in the game. I highly recommend learning it before even doing your first run, frankly. I'll point it out to you once again when I do it, when I hopefully do it. I hope I didn't just jinx myself. Just simply jumping to the left like that. And you skip. I mean, you see how much it saves on the mini-map. The entire bottom right of the mini-map is just completely obsoleted. And you end up getting 40-second laps on a track that realistically should take a minute 5. 39 actually, that was a really good lap. We'll see if we can repeat that feat once more. However, we are dropping once again into oncoming traffic, but they're nowhere to be seen. Very good. Now hopefully we're just able to make the shortcut. Very nice. And very nice. Very good. Very good Oxide Station, besides clipping Cortex on lap 1 and barely getting rammed offline. But besides that, I mean, no complaints from me. And whilst we go into this last cutscene, I think we have time for a few more donations right before we end.
Definitely. We have $250 from Purple's Pyrofan that says, "Whoa, baby. Been looking forward to this run for weeks now. Sending the best vibes for some speed and some prayers for TA Skip 2. Go, baby, go." We also have a $150 donation from Watfu that says, "Heart." Unicorns Rainbow donates $50 that says, "Love you, Hypno. Drink water, everyone."
Just in time for a penultimate boss fight, Pinstripe. So, again, like the other bosses, he does throw out infinite items. However, the thing with this is that he throws out bombs. And the reason why this isn't as much of a concern, probably going to regret saying that now, Karma's going to strike, is because unlike TNTs and nitros and potions and so on, they don't stay on the track. The bombs, the bowling bombs I should say, just explode when they reach a wall or the off-road. And that doesn't really faze us considering we're always going to be ahead of Pinstripe because of these skips. And so, because of that, nice hairpin. Because of that, this is probably the easiest boss in the game from a standpoint of he doesn't mess you up. It's the hardest track that's a boss race probably, because Hot Air Skyway is insane and has all of these skips, but yeah, it's probably the boss that messes you up the least. When I land from that first shortcut of the lap, you can actually get a huge SG off of that downhill that I land on. I'm yet to get one, but I hope I can get one lap 3. It's very, very hard and precise to do. You have to land on like very certain pixels. That's the invisible wall I'm speaking about on Hairpin. It is way harder than it looks because the invisible wall stretches all the way up. To be honest, I'm very happy that I'm 4 for 5 so far on that. That's very good. Now that I'm on lap 3, and there's no danger of me running into my items on the next lap, because this is the final lap, I'm going to start posting my items. And I'm going to see if I can get a boost item so that I can make Hairpin, and then instantly, that was an okay SG. I was able to do something out of it. Wow, I actually did get a boost item. So that's why you should put your items on the ground lap 3. And then hopefully I can make Hairpin and combine this into instantly getting my reserves back when I land. Oh, amazing. And then I use it. Oh, that's beautiful. That's 37 lap? 38.01. That's so mwah, magnifique. That was, I love that. That was awesome. Okay, and on to the final race in the game. Pinstripe says I beat him fair and square, so I clearly didn't do 9 shortcuts on 3 different laps and beat him that way. No. He said it himself. I didn't cheat at all. And then Oxide does a big speech about how he's going to win, even though he's not, hopefully. I mean, again, I could just suck and lose. That could happen, but ideally we should be lapping him with all the skips and stuff. So yeah, here we go. He's actually going to get a head start because he cheats, and this could actually be a problem because there is a chance that he gets in my way for the shortcut. He's not going to do it because he's ahead of me, which is what we want. I need to take a slightly tight line here to avoid the TNTs that he's throwing behind him and exploding. And besides that, that should be it until lap 3 in terms of the RNG aspect of this boss fight. Again, these shortcuts are very, very, like, the first shortcut is very, very difficult. It's the only shortcut in the game I'm aware of, at least, with multiple phases to it, where you drop down for the first part, and then you actually have to make it back on the rail for the second part. So, to point out what I'm talking about, you have to make it on the rail like this, and then drop down and activate the checkpoints ahead of time. There is actually a chance, Oxide was just below me there, on the other part of the track, there is actually a chance, but Oxide's red potions that he throws back on that section can go through the floor and hit you when you're on the top section. It's really dumb, and it's only happened to me twice, but it can happen. And so, the last real run killer and the most nerve-wracking stuff when you're on world record pace is the potions on lap 3. Are they in the way of the shortcut? Let's find out. They aren't. Very good. They were a little bit ahead of me, which is very good. I barely lived, but living is good enough. And after the shortcut, we are nearly ready on time. Hopefully I don't mess it up. Very good. Shouldn't mess this up. Awesome. Though that's, honestly, besides Tiny Arena, to be honest, if I got Tiny Arena 2 out of 2, that's like nearly were. I'm not even kidding, that's nearly world record. If I didn't mess up Tiny Arena. Of course, Tiny Arena had to Tiny Arena. Makes sense, but we're coming up on time now, and 3, 2, 1, time. Wow, that was a speed run. That was really good. Outside of one level, yeah. Sadly, that level was like the most important level, but I can't complain at all. I mean, that's awesome. That's really, really good. If I was to guess the time before seeing it, maybe like a 51:10. If I was to guess, I don't know what time I got, but if I was to guess,
you had, if they stopped at, I think, I don't know, 50. I want to say it was 50-50, but 50-51.
I'm a happy man. 50? Oh my, okay, that's, wow. I got a 50 and I went for Tiny Arena on lap 3 when I could have just crossed the line, but I wanted a swag. So, I mean, it would have been a 53x, but, you know, you gotta go for it. Wow, that was awesome. That was a really good, again, so just for maths, I guess, world record is 48.56 by me. If you subtract the Tiny Arena time loss, if I get that minute and a half, that's like, what, a 49.20? Oh my gosh. Wow, okay, that's, yeah, I'm really, really happy with that.
It looks like they shaved seconds off of you, so I believe it became a 49 or 47. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, so, okay, wow.
They must have done a late start.
Yeah, that would have definitely been like a low 49. Wow, okay, that's awesome. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there's a glitch showcase to be done. Am I right?
Yes.
That is correct. Hell yeah. Okay. Alright. So, I guess I'll start this off by saying don't go anywhere, because it's going to get a little bit insane. It's going to get a little bit insane. So, you can see the file I'm in right now. 4 keys, 16 trophies. Everything's normal. Now, I didn't save my game. And I left. So that should be it for that save file. Like, I didn't save it. However, if you have 2 controllers and you go into battle mode, let's say I set player 1 as, I don't know, let's say Tiny, because, you know, the donation incentive didn't get Tiny. So let's say Tiny for the Tiny fans. you set it up like this. You have player 1 in team 2 and player 2 in team 4. And for some reason, this gets glitchy. You set it to life limit mode and you set it to only potions. This part isn't as necessary, but it's the quickest way to do what we want to do. You hit start battle. And now I'm going to play as player 2. I'm going to play as player 2 and I'm simply going to hit myself. 6 times to be exact. 3 times in each battle. And what this is going to do, as you can see straight away, things aren't exactly right. You've got player 1 in 4th and player 2 in 2nd when there's only 2 players, and 2nd hit himself, so he should lose compared to 1st. Anyway, if you do this twice, or 3 times, or 4 times, or 5 times, this is actually a wrong rule. And what this is going to do is this is going to warp us to anywhere we want in the entire game. Again, I cannot explain why this exists. It's just an oversight, I suppose, but setting the teams up in this specific way, player 1 in team 2, player 2 in team 4, does this. Now, if I hit change setup, and I hit start battle again, you would think it's just going to put me back in Rocky Road, the battle arena I was just in. However, yeah, I'm back in my file. The file that seemingly was lost, I'm back in, for whatever reason. Now, let's say I wanted to do a track now. If I wanted to do a track now, I could go into Ruse Tubes. I'm not going to go into Crash Cove, because fun fact, only 5 tracks in this state don't crash the game. Ruse Tubes is one of them. So we're going to go into Ruse Tubes, because why not? And again, you're going to see some problems. And by some, I mean many. So straight away, I'm the only racer. The battle mode, like 3 lives, is there instead of a lap count. And if I hit myself, it goes down to 2, and it goes down to 1. And if you're thinking, what happens if you finish 3 laps in this state, the exact same thing happens as I'm going to show now. If you hit yourself 3 times, yeah, so this is fun. All things are happening. Dingo's eyes are pixelated now. There's just a 1 per icon just vibing. The loading screen is there. Who knows? If I hit retry, my exhaust is all weird and all pixely, and so are my tires, and so is everything. Also, the menu is for the battle mode. I can't exit to the adventure mode arena. I can only go to the main menu now. So, with these pixelated messes, I suppose, I'm now going to show off another glitch. Nice. All of my icons are just pixelated. It's wonderful. So, I'm going to show off another glitch now. This glitch was discovered earlier this year, and it is an absolute rabbit hole. It's insane. So first of all, you can store a menu by leaving it a way you're not supposed to. I'm going to hit start on my controller and then X 1 frame after it. I think I got it first try, actually. I wasn't actually expecting that. And what that's going to do is it's going to store that in memory. And now we're going to drive all the way to Rampage Ruins. And what this is going to do is it's going to like almost overlap, I guess, and
collect every crystal
store another thing in memory, that being Rampage Ruins. And it's going to have a knock-on effect. And let's just say things get interesting. As you can see, I have this menu stored, so I can quit to the main menu in Rampage Ruins. Again, you're not supposed to be able to do this, so it stores Rampage Ruins in memory. And now you see the problem. There's just a knock-on effect forever now. And now if I enter a Dingo Canyon token, let's say, which is what exactly I'm going to do, it's going to store Rampage Ruins in memory. And that means when I enter Dingo Canyon token, it's going to act like Rampage Ruins, which is where the main glitch here comes into play. You see, for some reason, and this I truly cannot explain, for whatever reason, grabbing a Wumpa fruit in this state acts like you grabbed a crystal. And so it automatically ends because the count is 0, 0 out of 0. So if you grab 1, it instantly ends because it's more than 0. But, and this is the thing I don't get, if you grab this Wumpa Whip, nice CTTR reference. If you grab one of these Wumpa down here, as you can see on my left, I can grab any item from the game's inventory for myself. And I do mean any item. So let's say that I want to grab a boss key, or I want to try to, and this isn't consistent, so I could fail it. But if I hold break X and mash circle, there is a chance that I get a Komodo Joe or Pinstripe boss key. I now have 3 keys, but only 8 trophies. And I have the Komodo Joe boss key without being him, because I just took it from the game by hitting that Wumpa at a very specific angle. Again, I have no idea why that is the case. But again, we left that level without doing what we should do there, which is completing all 3 laps and finishing it the intended way. So another knock-on effect happens, and now it's going to store Dingo Canyon trophy token in Blizzard Bluff trophy with all the pixels and all the mess. And now, even though I entered a trophy race, there are letters here which you can grab. And if you're wondering, is this useful in a speedrun? You betcha. This is the main foundation of the current 101% unrestricted route. We utilize this glitch 8 separate times for 8 separate trophy visits. And the reason why this is so important is not only can you grab any item you wish, you can also, and this is like insane, you can get tokens and trophies from playing the level once. Because tokens and trophies are very similar in the way that they both end after finishing 3 laps. Oops. Luckily that didn't happen in the run. Because they're very similar in the way that they finish, which is just completing 3 laps, this ends the glitch. But we also get both items, both the Blizzard Bluff token and the Blizzard Bluff trophy, from this glitch. And we also got the Komodo Joe key from the Dingo Canyon glitch. So it's absolutely crazy. It's nuts. I'm really happy that didn't happen in my run. Apparently I've now decided to just suck. It's fine though. And as you can see, when I cross the line, it's gonna give me the token. And when I get out of the level, it's also gonna give me the trophy. Like so. And if I check my pause menu, I have both the trophy and the token from just 1 visit, and I also have the Komodo Joe boss key by not even racing him, by just winning. And as you can see, I can actually access the last world. I think that's a good place to wrap it up. I think that's not a bad place to wrap it up. Those are the 2 major glitches. Shout outs to the entire CTR community. Shout outs to my community for making this possible. You've given me a dream job, and I mean that. Like, playing video games for a living is unbelievable. Thank you so much. If you want to speedrun this game, there are plenty of tools out there. Speedrun.com/CTR. There are guides. There are all sorts. If you want to see more of this, I stream pretty much every day. Twitch.tv/Hypnoshark. And wow. I couldn't ask for much more. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for putting on an event even during this world fiasco that we're living in. Yeah, and thank you so much for having me again. It means a lot. And yeah, cheers. Thank you.